How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Dope and Tape Show. This is episode 175. We're back from Miami. Me and Bobby did a quick stop for AFSA's board meetings. We got a lot accomplished. It was great to see all these people. And then, all of this is volunteer for them to travel, and then room, boarding, and then food, and then their time, and then they have to juggle work, and it's a lot. So as you can imagine, the people who are there are dedicated to fire protection and making it better in our industry, and it's just amazing to be a part of that. Because they're like us, and as as everybody that's on the show, like the rest of the world doesn't really care about fire protection. So the time that we can kind of get together with people who we can talk about, fire protection with, it's a great time. So. Happy to be a part of that. Definitely feel honored to be in the room with some of these people I look up to. Miami was cool. The Trump place was like legit. Like the
Over the
golf
top.
course was I mean everything was like top.
Over the
I
top.
mean that is the most expensive breakfast I ever paid for in my life. It was $54 per person. I saw the check. I went back to the table. I was like, "Hey, go get you like two more plates. We're gonna get money's worth. Go
What's
find
up,
the steak and
Florencio?
eggs."
Thanks for joining us. How we
Hey,
coming
by the
in,
way,
kid? How
we
we coming
have
in?
Brandon Mckee. He's back on. He came on before. He was apprentice to owner episode. It flew by. Uh, the episode was incredible, so we were like, we have to get you on soon. And here he is, and I can't wait to figure out what we're gonna get into. And also welcome. Thanks for coming wherever you are, Bobby. What you got, man?
Yo, what up, everybody? Thank you for joining. Um, I'm in Georgia. Let me know how it's coming in. It looks good on my end. It feels good on my end. What's up, Florencio? Good to see you. We missed you. We missed you last Thursday, kid. It's all right though. We'll let it slide. We'll let it slide. It's the first show that you missed in like 3 years. But what's up, everybody? Thank you. Hit the like button on your way in. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. We were at 1.48. So it's gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah.
Climbing, dude.
So we got
1,480-ish.
So what last month we got 10 subscribers. So that's pretty
Damn,
cool.
10.
10. Guys,
It's a slow
have your
grind. It's a
kids
slow grind.
yeah, yeah, have your grandmother subscribe. Have when you're walking apartments tomorrow, ask all the people in all the apartments, "Hey, will you subscribe to the YouTube channel?"
That's a little much.
Like, let's get it up there. Let's get it up there.
That's awesome.
Go to the senior living,
Get on your kid's YouTube account and close out Bluey and just subscribe to Dope and Tape. All right. We'll keep the swearing to a minimum. Promise.
Yeah, there you go.
Sometimes. Flo, how's it look, Flo? Flo, can you hear me, Flo? Flo, can you hear me? Everybody, welcome. I'm gonna make an Instagram video. Take it back. Take it back, Brian. Back to you.
Yeah. Okay. Back to you. Brandon, man, what's going on? Did you come up with any kind of like problems or solutions since we last talked?
Yeah, I think I've dealt with many problems and solutions. I feel like the daily grind on to just being a professional problem solver. I feel like when I wake up every single day, no matter what's going on, whether the job's going super smooth or whatever's going on, there's always something that you got to figure out. And I feel like as soon as people can just accept and acknowledge that, hey, we're just going to solve problems every day, and the better you accept that and you're proactive with doing that, the better your day's going to go, in my opinion, I guess. But yeah, man, it's been pretty good. There's ups and downs, as we discussed in the last episode. I've been in business for about 10 months, and it's been a long grind, dude. It's been very exciting. I've had a lot of wins. I've had a couple setbacks. I've had some challenges, but it's the journey that what makes us who we are, so it's been pretty exciting.
Do you mind if we get kind of deep into where you are now and how you got there in 10 months? I mean, that's like you said, it's a lot. So did you find like a CRM platform for your inspections, or are you doing like write-in
No,
templates or?
yeah, so CRM is definitely really good, and I've had some recommended to me. I don't currently use those, mainly because majority of the work I'm doing is new construction, a lot of
Okay.
residential stuff. I'm capable of doing a lot more, but just starting off as a new startup company, it's definitely a lot easier to start out with smaller residential projects and work our way into things. ADUs seem to be pretty booming in San Diego. I feel like every single person wants to build an ADU in their backyard if they have the room to do it. So that's a great market to have.
Well, hold on. Let me stop you right there. Explain that for people who don't know. What are you saying? ADU or EDU?
ADU, so an accessory dwelling unit. So like if you have a existing single family residence and you have a large backyard, you can build another property in your backyard and you can rent it out to somebody else. And so a lot of people are doing that because just the prices of everything and the investment to build something in your backyard and have someone else pay it off for you seems to be like a pretty good deal. And then those are going beyond even just like a single little ADU. I'm starting to see people building buildings that are multiple stories, so that have 9 to 12 ADUs in a 3 to 4 story building, which is also pretty awesome. So it just depends on the builder, the developer, and the owner of what their intent is for the property. But it's definitely a big market.
Yeah, see, I utilized pretending that the viewers didn't know what ADU was, but I really didn't know. You see how I did that?
No, no, I love that. Yeah, absolutely.
I was like,
Yeah,
what the hell did he say?
accessory
I missed
dwelling unit. Some
it.
people call it an additional dwelling unit. But yeah, just like a small little 1 to 2 bedroom little
Addition.
apartment, if you
Addition.
call it.
It's like
Yeah.
an in-law apartment.
Yeah, and a lot of people do that. They'll build them for in-laws. Like some families, they all kind of come together and they're like, hey, let's put all our money in one pot. Let's just put it all in on this property. Let's expand this, do this and that. And it's not a bad idea. I see a lot of people being successful with that because it's pretty, especially out in California where we live. Everything's really overpriced out here.
You ain't shitting, dude.
Super. Yeah, no way.
Super overpriced.
Yeah, and they still want 20 sprinklers done for $500, and I'm like, sorry, I can't.
Yeah, right. The taxes out there is just on everything's ridiculous.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
just the liability
crazy.
alone about being out there with those people. You guys got all crazies out there. We see about you on the news, They show the rest of the country what's happening in Cali. We just fire focus on you guys.
Yeah. I feel like more tourists see more where I live than I do because I've lived here my whole life. I don't ever do anything. People will come here for 1 week and they've seen more of San Diego than I have, and it's 37.
So I went to San Diego recently, and I was like, "Oh, this place is amazing! It's beautiful. The people are, out and riding bikes and taking pictures and reading and like all the outdoor stuff, and it was great." And then I got to downtown Los Angeles, and I was like, "Ooh." Like this is
it is a big difference
this is
as
rough.
far as like the energy you feel and the safety. I'm just kidding.
No, it's for real.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I used to work when I was working on a high rise downtown, the last job I did, after work, I would like take my guitar and I'd go sit out and just randomly sing random things to people driving by. And it would just be so funny, dude. Like me and the boys after work would have a couple of drinks, go play the guitar, and just people are laughing, driving back, And so the whole vibe of like just the experience of being a downtown worker is completely different than going and working at a residential building or a little apartment building in the middle of the city, it's pretty cool down there.
The problem is when you have to walk blocks with your tools,
Dude,
lunchbox.
Only the foremans get their parking paid for, so the rest of the crews park in super far away, either riding their skateboard or they're getting picked up by somebody, and then
Scooter gang.
And you got a lot of bad traffic down there too, where people are just like breaking into cars and doing stupid shit. So it's just you got to kind of deal with that. And
It was 2019, the scooters just blew up, bro. All the electric scooters, like they go so fast now. I got this guy, Wow Will, that I worked with. He had a scooter that you would get on. And I shit you not, I put a milk crate on it. We had a job that was up the road. It would take you like 40 minutes in the van. I would jump on his scooter with a milk crate. It would go like 50 miles an hour. I'd take it right up Route 9.
That's wild.
Just a little electric piece. And everybody had one because just like you said, the foreman would park out front and get his... What they would do is they would pay for your tickets. So in Boston, you're either paying $40 to go in the garage or you're paying a $40 parking ticket. And it's just easier just to take the parking ticket. And then the other guys have to park like way far away, miles and miles, and ride their scooters in. It's funny. Yo, what up,
4 or 5
Chad?
years ago, that's when like bird scooters were super popular, dude. Like everyone is we'd be mashing around, just having a good old time, But time flies, it goes by, and here I am trying to start and run a business and just pulling what hair out I have left, which is none.
None. That's pretty good.
but it's it's a good time. It's just one of those things. It's life's short. You just kind of gotta. It's not for everybody. And some dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. Some days, I'll be like going to bed at night, like, man, is this really what I want? Is this really what I want to do? Is like, do I really want to go through? Like, I know this is going to last another 5 years at least before I like get to like the surface of like feeling some like stability. It's
Plateau.
a steady grind, man. It's a steady
Yeah, well,
grind.
you're 10 months in, you're the beginning, so you're seeing everything.
Yeah,
You're seeing every aspect of the company right now, right? You're there and a part of every step, so it's got to be a lot. It's got to be a lot, dude.
it is, but it also is pretty awesome. Like all of you guys, and a lot of people listening that we all started at one point and you all kind of work towards something else, something new. Like I want to do whatever it takes to have an opportunity doing this. I want that experience. I want that experience. And then, like, once you just become that person that just always wants more, like it's kind of hard to just turn it off and be like, all right, I'm okay with this. But
Yeah.
now that I'm kind of like, in this position I'm in now, I'm just like, all right, well, this is where this is I got to figure this out. But it's been pretty
Yeah.
good, man. I really can't complain. I've been very grateful. I feel like I've had some pretty awesome luck. I don't know if we call it luck, but we could call it that just to make everyone agree.
Yeah, it's luck and
Yeah.
opportunity and you
Yeah,
jumping on it, If you didn't jump on the opportunity, it wouldn't have been lucky, right?
exactly. You got to take action to create any type of opportunity or result.
I am surprised that you're not doing any inspections and service because like the
So,
revenue percentage is huge, like the difference from construction to service inspections.
so I have done some inspections. It's just not that's not like the main business model or what we're going after. But like I've done a few inspections, 5-year certifications, annual inspections, different things like that. But not like it's not like that's like my main priority. Like I'm going after like trying to find property managers, business owners, and like, hey, I want to give you a service contract for 3 years. I want to do all your stuff. However, the last high-rise building I did do downtown San Diego, it's obviously probably the service contracts with my former employer, but because I am the foreman who installed every single thing on that project, I think it'd be pretty awesome to just kind of walk in there and shake hands and be like, "Hey, just so you know, I know more about this building than anyone's going to set foot in here because I spent 3 years of my life installing this fire sprinkler system. So
That's
I'd really
awesome.
like to give you a price on a 3-year service contract for your building."
That's awesome. Yo, Steve, what up? Keith, what up? I miss my hard hat brothers. I'm in the ITM now. It's a different grade. So there's definitely more money to be had in an install, no? As a business owner, like there's more
Uh,
profit.
I
Hey,
I
I'm
say
asking McGee.
okay. I say no, but go ahead, Mckee.
It really depends on where you're at. So if you think of a small company like me, right? Um, my overhead costs are substantially lower than other companies that are bidding some of the jobs I'm bidding. And so I could pretty much somehow put my pricing at a point to where it's a little bit more competitive than theirs, and I would still have a higher profit margin than them based on my operating business costs it takes me to operate my business each week and each month, right? But that's going to change drastically in the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. It's going to keep going up and up and up as soon as I hire more employees and then I start, implementing more benefits to employees and things like that. So it's just a very small period of time where I get to have that luxury of like having good profits with those types of jobs. But I have been told by many people, and I have experience and do understand that service ITM is the cash flow of a business. You get to the job quick, you get paid quick. You're not waiting for a lot of things. You get into other projects where you're waiting to get paid a month or two later. It is a lot different. There's a lot more upfront costs that come into play.
True that. What do you
When
say,
I
Brian?
was doing, well, I mean, when I was doing project management for some new construction projects, like I would see the revenue percentages coming in. It was terrible. And at some point I was like, why are we even doing this? Was this project took months and we came back with like 12, 15%. Like
Yeah.
that's horrible. When I can do a inspection at 40%, 45%, sell it there, and then have services done at 50, 60% of
So
revenue.
So the difference is this: when you have a team of people to do a lot of things, it's a lot easier to have those departments and things. I'm kind of like running every department, whether I'm doing new construction, TI, service ITM. I'm the one guy. So my goal is to generate enough capital to where I can hire the next guy to take over an ITM service division or things like that. And I guess what it comes down to is a big thing about it also is you got to think about the estimator bidding the job also, right? Like,
Yeah.
did they bid it correctly? Did they miss anything? What was
And it's a
the
huge thing.
what was the
Huge.
targeted profit percentage of the job? If it was targeted at 30%, you only made 12, then how was the job managed? Did you actually get 3 or 4 quotes of material and sub out different material to different suppliers to get the best price, or did you just give it to the one guy that you have a relationship with? Like, there's so many variables that come into play to the total outcome cost of the job, and as well as your mix rate. Why do you have 5 9-year guys on a job when you could have 1 10-year guy, a 9-year guy, and two or 3-year guys? So your mix rate's a little bit lower. So every hour that's charged the job is less. There's so many variables as well as what you said when I was a project manager that I would see, and sometimes it's even more than estimating a job. It's about business. It's about like, hey, we don't have anything on our backlog. We need to bid some jobs. We're going to take our price down a little bit so we can not lose our employees, keep everyone working, and then slowly raise our prices as we get some more backlog going. It's a wild thing to think about all the different moving pieces to like make it all come together.
Hell yeah, I love
So
how
how are
fast I
you
love how
holding?
fast you talk. That's the best part. That's the best part. It keeps the show going. You're just like, "Well,
my,
I
my
feel like
mind's crazy,
I gotta
dude.
talk a little bit faster than you. You're talking so fast." So Steve brings up a good point where he says, yes, it's 15%, but it's like on $1 million job, and say you do the job in 6 months, make a million, you get 15%, but then like,
The
how could you
odds
make that
the
in?
no
How
no
could you
the
make that in
number of
inspection?
companies that are doing $1 million jobs, there's not many. Like it's not
Yeah,
like a super normal thing.
for sure. And honestly, $1 million job, most of the time you're going to bid that. They're going to be in the design development phase. You're going to give them a budget. Every few months they're going to reach back out for an updated budget as they generate new plans, and they're going to finally get into the construction drawings, and they're going to start securing finalized pricing, and then it's going to finally, you're going to get into the spot where plans are approved, and you keep, as an estimator, you keep following up with them every month, like, hey, just want to check on what's going on, blah blah blah. And then a year or two later they finally start digging a hole in the ground. So like sometimes those larger jobs are like a big long drawn out process from the first estimate you get, depending on what part of the bid phase you get into it with. But they do take a long time. But a wise man once told me that new construction is where you build your name, and ITM service is where you make your money. So think about a big
Yeah.
company where you got these big jobs. You can put a bunch of people there. They're working. You're making a little bit of profit. You're doing your things, but you also have, puzzle pieces, chess pieces you can pull to do other things for TIs and other things. If all you had was ITM service and TIs, you need to do new construction. Sometimes it can be more difficult to maintain your manpower, So it's easy to pull someone off a new construction job for a couple of weeks, and it's not going to really fall behind because you can go back out and blow out a couple of floors really quick.
I agree. And I have looked at, not like talked, but I go see these companies all the time, and we sit down and we talk business and all that stuff. And the companies that have that business model of service inspection only, it looks from my eyes that they have trouble growing. Like
Yeah, well,
they kind of like stay at the like average, let's say like the 8-10 million annual revenue. Like
eight
that's
ten
where they're
million is
at.
great. That's great. I
Yeah,
would I
it
would
is.
be
But I
yeah.
mean, they're
Depending on size,
not growing.
the,
It
the
seems
goal is to
like.
make 350,000 revenue per employee you have, if possible, right? It's a very hard goal to achieve, but if you keep that as your standard and work towards that goal, you may not always meet that goal, but it's a good goal to have, and just something to kind of check yourself based on how many people you're paying and what's going on with the company. Another thing I'll say about ITM service is, to make that 15%, you're talking about another job, which, it's hopefully it makes more than that. But I've seen jobs come in at like 3 or 5% profit, that are $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 jobs. And I'm like, dude, I did everything I could to make this happen. And like, I don't know what else I could have done, to make it happen. But all those other ITM service stuff, it comes into your processes and systems, right? Like there's a lot of platforms out there that, provide that efficiency that people are looking for, but it's so much more legwork, so much more scheduling. You're going to like, how many jobs a day, how many jobs a week or a month versus that one construction job. You had one design, one product data submittal. You have your RFIs that come up here and there. It's easier to manage a large new construction job. I would say it's more involved to do an ITM service thing. when you're getting to the 3, 5, 6, $7 million service department type of work. It takes a full team of people to do that.
Yeah.
Definitely a full team
Keith
and
says
several office people.
bidding is key.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing that we're more of a big, we're doing big ass jobs, so we're trying to do
Massive. I
we're
mean,
trying to do service and inspection now, and it takes a lot of resources. It takes
Yes.
all of us away from what we're doing to try to get one guy to go pull a cap off and look at an ice plug when we're over here with like buckets and buckets, and we just got like this one little bucket over here. It's just it's right now it's tough for it to make sense.
Yeah. And there's so much more that can go wrong, right? And we all know that growth comes from making mistakes. Oh, I made a mistake. Oh, I learned, I grew, I'm better now today than I was yesterday, blah, blah, blah. But, sometimes, you just got to get that. There's those certain seasoned guys that are really, really good at service ITM. And, I applaud those guys because they have a different, unique skill set than a lot of different fitters that they can walk into any building, anywhere, do anything, anytime. And, I feel pretty confident what I'm doing, but I still constantly run into situations where I'm like, what's that? What is that? Like it happens, dude. And, but it's still exciting to just be able to constantly learn and grow with that. But that's what you get out of that side of the fence, I feel.
Yeah, I got lucky in Boston where you were always like you weren't a service guy, but you were always like you were on the bench to be a service. If all the service guys were busy and you had a van, you were a service guy that day if they needed you. And
Yeah.
when I worked with my father, we did a little bit of everything. So I could service shit. I don't the inspecting part is what I haven't done a lot of, but I could go in and fix some shit.
Dude, I just love new construction. I love brand new parts, brand new large buildings. I love doing
Brand
everything
new
from the
can of dope.
source.
Just crack that
Dude,
brand new can of dope open, kid.
yeah, take a little taste. I've seen your videos. Just taste it real quick.
A box of 100 rolls of Teflon, half-inch Teflon. Come on, what's
Yeah.
with the 3/4?
The 3/4 for 1 inch pipe only, or for like pipe only, I would say.
I hate 3/4 tape. I just use half-inch because no matter what, you're never gonna make it in all
What
that
about
way.
the double density? Arco sells 0.8.
Yeah, I like the
typical is
thinnest
0.4.
tape you can get, and just half-inch. I feel like that's all you need, no matter what it is. Maybe
Yeah.
if you were like taping some 4-inch threads, I would use 3/4 tape. I don't know. Maybe it's just I just use half-inch for so long, and now I see a lot of 3/4. It drives me nuts seeing 3/4 tape on a 1-inch thread. It takes up
Well, I mean,
takes up the whole
price
thing.
difference isn't much.
Yeah, just like even
Yeah.
when you're putting it on, it's just like I don't know. It's larger. It's got to just be
It's
a
too
pet
much.
peeve.
Well, if you have like
I
a
like
little,
half-inch.
Well, I mean, I guess
if
you're
you have
just
a little
not used
piece
to
of-
it. You're not used to bigger things. So anyway, what you say?
Yeah, I'm not used to bigger things like you, Bry.
Go ahead, Mckee.
Dylan says 669 road fitter here. Super encouraging hearing your journey. My goal has always been to start something up. Hell yeah, Dylan. Start it up.
The thing
Start
is,
it
you
up,
just have to
Dylan.
start. You have to be okay with failure. For example, like, when we first started the Dope and Tape show, like a little bit after we started that, I started a coffee company. And I was pushing that, trying to do that. I put some money into it. And then like the revenue, we were talking about revenue. There's not that much in coffee.
Yeah.
And so like I had to pivot into something else, close the LLC. Like some things don't work. Now the new thing that we're doing is working great, but that one's got to go.
You got to
And
sell
it's
a
okay
lot
to
of
fail,
coffees,
dude. It's
kid. You got to
okay.
sell a lot of
Dude,
coffees.
you do.
Right?
You do. I had some ideas on how to make it successful, but it was just so much work and such like I was like, nah.
I tell you what, I feel like entrepreneurship is a lot easier when you don't have kids, because when you have kids, you have that sense of feeling guilty. Like I'm losing time. Like I'm gonna wake up one day and be a millionaire and have all this success and money, but like I never hung out with my kids, and so like it's a really tough balance of like I have 2 daughters that are 14 and 9, and my oldest is going into high school this year, and I'm just like trying to make things happen, but at the same time I'm trying to be like there as a dad, but it's a difficult thing, when you think about how fast time really flies by. And when you're really busy, time flies by even faster, right?
And then you're just like fuck sleep. I could do less sleep. Like I only need 3 hours, right? Like
Yeah,
as you get more
I
busy,
thought 6 was cool, 3's fine.
you start sleeping less and less and less. Like well, I feel pretty good with 4 hours of sleep. Like we should try 3.
like even so after this, I'm going to bed. I gotta do some things around the house, but I'm gonna go to bed and then I'm up. I'm gonna be up at 5.
Yeah.
I gotta do some work, get prepared for a meeting that I have at 7 a.m. and for in another country, and then I got Spanish from 8 to 9. Then I gotta go to work, and then I gotta it's like it's hard to do that with kids.
Yes. 100%.
So Florencio says
It's a
he's doing
lot.
he's talking to you, Brandon. I'm doing service work at Legoland Hotels in Carlsbad. And
Oh, nice.
Millennium is getting a new construction job soon at Legoland. Who keep your eyes out. Go bid on that one. Half inch tape
Yeah,
all day.
Legoland. All I know is
Yeah.
jobs like that are they're great jobs, but they're paying in the ass. Anything Legoland, Disneyland, even malls, dude. Like malls are paying ass. You go in there, you're like, I'm shutting this whole manifold down. I don't know where this shit starts and
Yeah.
stops. I'm not pulling the live head
Oh
today.
no,
I'm shutting
malls are
them
the
all down until I
worst.
get to know the system.
Drain this whole shit. Oh yeah.
But
I was there
yeah, no,
when
that's
Buddy pulled
great.
a live
Legoland would be
head.
a cool job. It's cool to be on jobs like that and be a part of those.
We were at a place where they were like, nah, like if you're only working here, like we're just gonna drain this one. Like we don't need to drain that. Like, all right. Then I go to the van and Buddy pulls a live head and we were like one line. It was one head and there was like used to be a wall. There's no more wall now, so there's just two
Yeah.
drops and we're putting pendants to uprights, Buddy, and the alarms are going off and I'm like, wow, it worked.
Let's just say I'm never gonna trust the zone map that the guy left
Yeah.
10 years ago
10
before
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
me.
I'm like,
I'm
wow.
not trusting that.
I'm like, wow, I
If I
never
could
heard the
look
horns and
above the
strobes there.
ceiling and see where lines start and stop, I'll be like, all right, I can see that main goes this way and it goes. All right, I feel confident with shutting down that one valve. But other than that, I shut them all down, dude, until you get used to it.
You go in the hot.
Hospitals are so
You go into the
bad.
hospital and you're like, oh, I'll
Jeez.
just trace it out, and you try to poke up into the ceiling, and there won't be one tile that will open. And you can't get any of the
Well,
tiles to open. It's
yeah,
just jammed up there.
Yeah.
and then even to pop that tile, you got to have a containment around you. Sometimes you like got to have. It's
Uh-huh.
hospitals are tough, dude.
There's a one tile rule. There's a one tile rule that I learned at the hospitals, and I would use that shit. Oh man, if it's just one tile, damn the C4. I found two of the OG
How to do
strawberries
it.
today.
Strawberries the best ones.
I mean Starburst. I found the ones that like because they're
Starburst, yeah.
filtering out. Now they say strawberry. I like the original
I noticed
Starburst.
that. I was like, is that the same one or not?
What?
And then
Do you want to go into a
and then I
little?
saw
Can we
Lost
go
their
into can we
licensing.
go into a little sidebar conspiracy, Bobby conspiracy about C4? I don't
yeah.
think that they paid
Oh,
for those
here we go.
I don't think they paid for those logos. I think
The
Uh,
licensing?
I think C4 was a brand new company, and they were like, we'll put Jolly Rancher on the can, we'll put Starburst, we'll put Skittles until we get in trouble, and then it will already be established, and then we'll take because it's the
So
same flavor, bro. They didn't change it. They just put
so
strawberry on
so
it.
that would be a class action lawsuit, and that's within public record. So you could test your theory with a quick Google search.
You got me?
Yeah, I could look it up.
I'll
I'll get
look it
with
up
our
for you.
legal
I'll
team.
figure that out.
I'll get with our legal team and
Yeah,
have them
please.
look it up.
See what she says. Keep it rolling, Brandon. Sprinklers for everyone. That's Derek O. What's up, Derek? Bobby 2.0. Hell
Derek
yeah.
O, what's up, bro?
Florencio knows. So we are launching a website any day now. I don't really know the actual logistics of it, other than we're looking for some sponsors. If you want to be if you want to be on the website, with a link to your website and your logo. And so we're trying to do that. We're trying to do out like some year sponsorships on our website. It's going to be the landing page for the industry. You're going to be able to go to our page, and you're going to be able to see where the sprinkler events are. Where are the sprinkler events? It doesn't matter which organization it is
All
or any of
across
that. It's just going to
America.
be able to see, where's NFPA, where's NFSA, where's AFSA, when, where, what's the times, what's the dates, how do I sign up, how am I going to be there? We're going to have info on Next Gen. Everyone wants to know how can you participate in Next Gen, how can you be involved. That's the biggest thing right now. The biggest thing to be involved with Next Gen is to find the nearest AFSA local chapter, and anytime they have an event, anytime they have a meeting, you show up. You don't have to have like some written in stone, you are now a member and allowed to come. You show up, you can sit, you can sign in, and you sit off to the side. And you sit off to the side till they invite you to the middle. That's how it works. And the really supporting is, like Brian said in the beginning, you're volunteering your time to the greater cause of the industry, and you're showing up to the meetings
Yeah.
in your local area. That's how you support. And so we'll
Yeah,
have info
I
like
need to
that
get
on our
back into that.
website, and we'll have quick links to go places. The website will also have a calendar of upcoming shows, previous shows, viral videos.
The Discord, yeah.
We're putting a lot of work and a lot of money, resources, time into this website, and so we're
And then
just
that's why the sponsorships we're asking like a little ahead before the launch because we're not doing this stuff for free.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're looking at each other like, all right, how are we going to do this?
Dylan says, "What's the best way to learn the bidding process?" That's a damn good question, Dylan.
Ooh,
The best way to learn what?
The bidding process.
failure,
The
lots
bidding
of
process.
failures.
You need to know the cost of
Yeah.
every item you're using. You need to know how long it's going to take you. There's so many factors. I'll let Brandon tell you. He's probably a little.
Make sure that the lift and the booms are
I
correct.
Yeah, 100%. My response would be that the best way to learn it is to actually just do it. So somehow get an opportunity and just understand if you're in the field, making 45, 50, 65, whatever dollars an hour or whatever you're making, just know that be prepared that it's okay to take a pay cut to have an opportunity to go do something else that has a higher top out pay, because you're going to have commissions and other opportunities that happen. But the basic bidding process is it's different for every single job. But if you take a new construction job, for example, majority of the time, unless it's like DSA or hospital or things like that, you're not going to have any fire sprinkler drawings. So like when you get the building permit set of plans, you got mechanical, electrical, plumbing, RCP, all these things, architectural, structural. You don't have fire sprinkler plans majority of the time. So you're literally doing a full takeoff. So you're going to lay out a fire sprinkler system and figure out all the linear feet of pipe, all the fittings, all the heads, all that. And that's what's called your takeoff. And so that takeoff is going to get implemented into a spreadsheet or some type of system that is implemented by the company to know your exact cost for all your parts. And then so you know your material costs, right? And then what Brian was talking about, you need to know like what's the ceiling elevation? Is a lift going to be required? How long do you need the lift? You're going to charge a fee for your service truck to be there every day. You're going to charge all that. How many hours do you think it's going to take a foreman and apprentice to do it? Is it going to be a 2-man crew, 3-man, 4-man, 5-man? Is it out of town? Do you have to pay for hotels? Do you have to pay for per diem? Do you have to pay for, you just include all that stuff. And then that's what's called the job cost. That's exactly what it costs to do the job. And then the company has their overhead and profit markup, which is the overhead is the operating cost of the company, and the profit is the projected profit they expect to make on the job when it's all said and done. And it's it goes really quick, and it's scary sometimes when you're like bidding really expensive jobs. You're like, oh, I hope my price is good, especially you don't have any experience. You're like, am I like $200,000 low? My $200,000 high? What's
stressful.
going on?
Yeah.
Especially when they accept your bid so fast. They're like, whoa, I don't know how you got here so cheap. And you're like, oh no.
One of my
Oh no.
Oh shit.
my sales manager I used to work for, super good guy. His name's Eric. He we had this joke. He would say, he's like, hey, sometimes when you sell a job, man, you're like so stressed because you got to meet your quota, you got to like make your sales, but then like so you're stressed out for not selling, and then as soon as you get an email saying you got awarded the job, you're like, oh shit, what did I forget? Why did I get awarded the job?
Yeah. It does feel like that for
shit.
sure.
Hey Dylan, did you write all that down? Buddy was talking super fast. You can replay it. You can go back and watch the replay. We are at where are we? We're at the 33-minute mark. You can write that down. Yo, Daryl, what up? You're late. You're better than missing the show completely like Florencio did last week. Sorry, Flo. Oh, Jeremy's here too. JB, what up? JB tagged me like 4 times today. How you doing, dog? Mr. Dunsmore. Mr. Dunsmore.
Dunsmore, that's Eric Dunsmore, dude. That's the guy I was just talking about, my old sales manager, dude. He's a badass. Dude.
So Florencio knows him. Florencio's like right in your backyard. He's like in the window. I see him. Like Florencio's right there peeking in. Brian doesn't know anything about business. I literally beat him in our competition. That's Daryl. Yo, that was a good. I gotta go back and rewatch that episode.
Yeah,
that was one of the funniest episodes we've had.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Sales position, PM. What's up, Dylan? Sales position and PM. Where I come from, the sales guy was the PM. Like the company that the last company I was every company that I was with previously, the sales guy would PM the job because he was like duly invested, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it done good both ways, just depending on how the company operates. As long as there's a good job turnover, it's the information can be transferred and it could be done efficiently regardless. But yeah, I've seen it done good both ways.
Been working like a dog, man. Haven't been on the show in a minute. Missed you guys. Happy to see you, JB. I see you tagging me every day. Busy man. New baby out there. You're always just digging shit up and changing shit. Keep it going, dog. Hard work is good. Do you want to make a friendship? Daryl said. Brian says, I want to build a relationship. I was like, oh, I don't want that. Oh, that was a good episode. It really was. I'll get the
Yeah,
number.
that
I'll
was
get the
fun.
number for you guys if you guys want to go back and watch
Brandon,
it.
if you haven't watched that, you should go back. It's fun.
Which one is it?
We did like a role play where where Brian and Daryl were both trying to sell me like an inspection for my building, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I don't need you
The
guys.
worst
Like,
customer
I was
ever.
like, I do it myself. When it leaks, I just shut it off. Like,
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I like it.
it was good. Daryl
Yeah,
went
you got to
like,
bring in random stuff like that sometimes,
yeah,
you know?
Daryl went in like full
Yeah.
like stalker mode and found out like he made a company logo like in the town that's next to me, and like knew like my animals' names and shit. It was, I don't know. It was.
He remembered everything.
Yeah, he did. He
That's
was like,
wild.
he was throwing out like animal names, and he's like, he had Massachusetts. What town did he pick? He picked like a Massachusetts town that was like right next to me. He's like, my business is based right in the town over from you. It was fucking.
That's good sales skills, you know?
It was. It was. He put some work
Yeah.
into it.
He put in a lot of work. He had a logo, business name.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Way more than I did.
Shout
I'll
out
tell
to
you that. I
Daryl.
just showed up.
Yeah, Daryl
Shout
did
out to
good. Daryl
Daryl.
Daryl was
We appreciate you.
Daryl was ready for that one. I'm gonna find the episode so I can tell you guys the number so we can go back and watch it. It was funny.
So Brandon, have you hired you an office person yet? I mean, you're
No.
juggling so much.
Yeah, but I mean, it's pretty, I wouldn't say it's pretty easy, but it's just easier to manage when you're such a small business like me, right? You know, um, I would imagine by the end of the year, my goal is by the end of the year, I'm not in the field anymore. I don't do anything in the field, and I have other help in the office. But in order for that to happen, I have to sell a lot of work. You know, like I have to justify that I'm going to have the revenue coming in to be able to have the money to pay people, to hire people, to be able to grow and scale and go towards that goal. So right now, it's just been a lot of just really small incremental improvements over time. Like just yesterday I sold a job. It was only 10 grand, but it's like, I got a 10 grand job. I should make 4 grand on that job. It'll take us probably 2.5 days to install it, but we won't install that job for probably another 6 months, so it just sits there, and it's just, you got to stack up all those. And then it gets to the point of, yeah. And then, dude, I've gone back and forth with the idea of taking on investors, like business partners. I've had a couple of people reach out to me about that. I've said, no, I don't want to do that, and sometimes, it goes back and forth in your head. You're like, wow, like it'd be really, really easy to just have someone come in and just help, invest in the company to help it,
So I don't recommend you doing that yet.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't want to do it. It's just,
I don't remember
people
his
bark
name.
up the tree,
Yeah.
I want to shout him out, but I can't remember him. He was at Vegas Valley Fire. He was a business consultant. What was his name?
Oh.
Freaking awesome. Like
he was
incredible.
awesome.
And he's just a consultant. So you can, instead of getting an investor where you're losing, percentages of your company, you can get you this consultant. And I went to a meeting with Vegas Valley Fire and raved on him. Raved.
What it comes down to is capital, right? You got to have money to make money. It's what it takes.
That's true.
You got to have a giant line of credit to be able to wait to get paid to go after the larger jobs. It's just what it takes. You got to have a lot of money to put up front to be able to go bid certain jobs, just because based on the insurance requirements, and you can get one job where it's like, oh, it's going to be 30 grand a year for insurance. It's like, holy shit, for this one job, and then once you have that insurance, you're not allowed to have different insurance policies from what I understand. And so that insurance would be applied to, even if I did a little residential house, I'd still be applying the same insurance to that. And your insurance is based on the revenue you have. So if your insurance is based on 500K of revenue, but then all of a sudden you do 1.5 million, that cost is going to go up. So you better be making sure you're proactively and talking to your insurance agent to get those, rates updated. And it's a lot of different moving parts, man. But honestly, like I said, first year in the business, it's been going awesome. Things are great. I'm just looking forward to the 5-year mark. I got a lot of work to do, but if I just keep doing what I'm doing, 5 years from now, I should feel pretty good about where I'm at, and then start looking forward to the 10-year goal.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
But nothing's guaranteed either.
Tristan's wondering who does your
Oh,
drawings.
nothing. Yeah, that's for sure.
Who does my drawings? I have a few different people. I'm not going to say their names, just because it's kind of irrelevant. But depending on the type of job I work on, if it's like an NFPA 13D job, which is a very basic design, two head calc, 0.5, very simple. You're just dealing with a water meter and things like that. It's pretty straightforward. If I get into 13R, 13D, I'll work with somebody else. Just depends on what the job is, and then so my goal is to eventually have in-house designers, but that again, that's a big investment, right? You gotta do the jobs, make the money, and then reinvest the money, right? So you're constantly like not making any money because all the money you make, you're just putting it back in the company to try to like get the next thing you need to be able to be more efficient, right? And let's be honest, you don't want to outsource your design forever. I mean, at least I don't. Like eventually one day it'd be nice to have an in-house designer or in-house design department, if I'm going to go that route, right? And that's how all the companies I've worked for have been. And it's been very successful that way because you are able to train and work directly with people that are designing your projects because it's just good, unless there's people you trust. There's one person out there that I trust more than anything with anything. I'll give him any job and I don't care if he ever, I'll pay him whatever. And I just know he's going to give me the best result out of anybody I ever work with.
Hell yeah.
So, how have you been going about hiring? Make sure you get the right guys, and have you been successful there? I mean,
So I've only hired
no one
one
shoots 100%, but
yeah. So I've only hired one foreman. I'm in the works of hiring an apprentice soon. I'm just waiting for some things to start to justify that. But pretty much the foreman I hired is somebody who used to be my apprentice when I was a foreman, and so we already have a pre-existing relationship. When it gets into, but that's only going to last so long. There's only like a couple guys you can like reach out to that'll, you'll work with that, like, and then other than that, it's like you're just posting ads and you're, swinging for the fence trying to find a needle in a haystack, right? Because we know how hard it is to find quality candidates that are actually going to show up, do their job, and actually want to be better the next day than they were the day before. So I'd say hiring people from that aspect is just, you got to really know what you're doing. And it's not a bad idea to, quiz people and ask them what they really know. Don't wait for them to show up to work to find out what they know. Like, I know one guy that I used to manage a big division of a company I used to work for, and he would make them take a test. Like, oh yeah, everything's working great, blah, blah, blah. All right, take this test. You're a journeyman, you're certified, you know this, you know that, blah, blah. And then they score 40% on the test. It's like, come on, guy. And you want this much money,
That's a good idea. I might do that.
But it's, it's book smarts and street smarts, right? Anyone can screw in a piece of pipe. But I can tell you, the guy who's like, oh, I'm the best fitter in the world, and he installs it all. But you got overspaced sprinklers, obstructed sprinklers, deflectors too low from the ceiling. You got mixed. It's just like, dude, there's so many things out of compliance. There's a difference between somebody who installs it and catches mistakes as they go because they know the books at the same time.
Right. Exactly. I know that I particularly worked with a lady. She journeyed out in Massachusetts in the union. It takes 5 years. You have to get 10,000 hours to get your Massachusetts license. And so she'd been doing it for 5 years. This is over 10,000 hours doing flex heads. She did firecock for 5 years. She was the firecock lady for 5 years. That's all she did.
That's
and
tough,
she was
bro.
a journeyman. And so, she's just up there playing with a flex head for hours and hours. We're like, well, what's going on? Oh, well, I've only done firecock for 6 years.
So she was able to go through that sprinkler union and pass the union with never installing sprinkler pipe, and her 10,000 hours was firecocking. That's crazy.
Basically, yep.
And
when we put her to the test to try to hang some shit, that's when we found it out.
Yeah, well, that's
Imagine
wild
that.
because normally, you got to have a certain percent, like 10% of this, 50% of that, 20% of this, like just like your core curriculum that you would study on, whether it's fire pumps, fitting, copper pipes, CPVC, foremanship, whatever. There's a certain percentage of every category.
Yeah, you got to do it
all. So that's wild. So she had a disadvantage then. That wasn't her fault. She had a disadvantage. The company who hired her didn't give her the right experience she deserved to have.
100%.
Yeah,
well,
for sure
in that state, that's our work. That's a big thing that they would say is if you're firecocking your pipe, that's my work. And so, I particularly liked it when they hired a fire caulking company, and the fire caulking company
For
did
sure,
everybody's shit all exactly the same. Because I've been
dude.
on
It's
jobs before where they cut it open, bro. Have you ever been tested?
yeah.
They,
So
they
I
cut
I did
open
a deal.
around the whole thing, and then they inspect how you did it, and they look in there, and I don't know, you don't know what you'd be
Yeah,
stuffing in there that day.
dude, we did a job where everything was all the fireproofing was done by the Hilti like field document manager or whatever, and everything had a QR code tag. Like every fire caulking penetration you did, it like
That
had
was,
like
yep.
you could scan it and it would go into an app and show you like who inspected it, where it passed, this and that, and that
We used
was
to have
kind
to
of
put our we
wild.
used to have to
You
put
know?
our name on it. We'd have a
Yeah.
little sticker. You'd put your name, your company, the date, your
You
phone
you
number, and I would always
what
put little Bobby's name and the company's phone number.
when I did my high rise, I
Yeah.
made everyone. I would tell people, you better write your name on the door of this unit because when it blows out, I want to know who piped this unit.
I had this weird thing, bro, where we did a 400,000 square foot hospital, and like I could walk to a leak. I knew who was there. I was the general foreman on that job. I could walk to a piece of pipe anywhere in that building. I know exactly who put it in. I don't know why
Yeah.
or how, but I just knew. Like I would look up at it and I'd be like, Billy, this one was
That
Billy.
was Billy. I seen him do it in my
Hey,
sleep.
Billy, get up here. Inspection and service is great for consistent revenue, but new install brings the larger lump sums. Hell yeah, Tristan. James Froelich. I'm trapped in the office and forget how to screw in a piece of pipe.
James Froelich is my boy, dude. That's the guy who helped me get started with my company that I talked about in the last episode.
Hell yeah.
Well,
Good,
that's
you're a
Big
awesome.
good
man.
dude, James. We got some pipe if you wanna screw some pipe in. I'm sure Brandon could use the help.
Yeah.
Yeah, he owns his own company, bro. He's fucking running around with his head cut off too, you know?
The business that you're doing is quite hard. It's too much up and down. I'd rather be in service or inspection, and the work is consistent all year round and repeats the same jobs next year. Like simple things, hydrants have to be tested every single year. That's easy money. Hell yeah, Daryl. Love it.
Oh yeah. I'd like to see some of those service ITM guys though keep up with me on the new install side, just
They,
throwing out pipe all day
they,
long, nonstop, dude. It's a
they,
different ball game, baby.
Florencio says they tested your cock, Bobby. Oh shit! Drum roll, please. We got Chris Logan here. Shh, here he is.
Wow.
What's up, Chris? Thank you for joining. P. Rictus, repeal 19A. This guy's always saying some crazy shit. What's up, P. Rictus? Thanks for joining. I know what you're gonna say next. You say it every time. Hit me with it. The leak was Bobby. No. No, no. Oh, Florencio said something and then deleted it real quick. You lucky I didn't see because I would have read it, you little bastard.
He's like, oh.
Sometimes they redact comments. What's wrong? You spell it wrong? I
So
can
how
read
about
through a spell
this?
check.
So how about this? What is one of the biggest challenges you guys have gone through in like your recent, quarter of what you do for a living? What has been something that's been super difficult that you've worked through and got to the other end of?
Oh, mine's super easy. I mean, I'm sure everybody can imagine it's the freaking tariffs. Like I've been having to watch that and manage that with material purchasing and kind of get game plans to overcome that, and then
For
also
sure.
being competitive with competitors. It's been a challenge. Luckily, Arco has a lot of inventory, so we've been able to hold our price when other companies can't. But eventually, the products in that buy rate will go, and then we'll have to rebuy. So then, yeah,
Yeah.
it's extremely challenging.
For sure, especially with the volume of sales you guys do in all the different areas. Yeah, I can imagine
Yeah,
that.
And you guys are
absolutely.
selling a lot of shit, all different stuff. Mine's really manpower,
Yeah.
finding and keeping good manpower. Finding good manpower, really. Just
For
people that, like
sure.
you said, that want to show up and be like, you don't have to be the greatest. I don't need people that are better than me or want to like be as crazy as I am and into it. Just like want to be better than you were yesterday, better than your yesterday
Yeah,
self. Like that's all I need. And someone that just
dude.
shows up every day. Like I don't know. I went through heavy drinking and drugs, and through all of it, something that I always held high was I never missed work. Yeah, it doesn't matter if I was blowing lines at 3 a.m. or if I was if I never even went to bed. Like I'm serious. I would turn up whether it was no sleep or a little sleep or like you said going to Walmart and you gotta like buy an outfit because you're still in your club clothes
Yeah,
and you don't know what. But
yeah.
And now that I'm sober, like I'm definitely not gonna miss. But it's just people miss a lot. People
Yeah,
be
they do.
missing days, and when I see someone miss a day, it just means to me that like, well, they don't need all their hours, right? Maybe they're making too
Yeah,
much, right? A lot of times,
yeah,
if you can afford to miss a day every week, you're probably making a little too much. Probably give a couple bucks back.
yeah. Sometimes when I'd be like working, 40s, 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 40. Sometimes like I miss a day and I get 32 hours. I'm like, fuck, my check wasn't that much less. I think I'm in a better tax bracket. Maybe I should just work 32 hours a week.
Yeah.
Was right? Oh my God, it's kind of
But I
true,
get what you're
dude.
saying. That's for your own benefit, not for the overall benefit of the company and the mission that you're all after, right? But so I completely understand that and agree with you. Um, yeah, dude. Yeah, that's some good answers. I like that.
How about
It
you?
has been.
What do you got? What's your
Yeah.
challenges?
My challenges are, fuck, man, sorry for cussing.
It's okay.
Uh,
We cuss all
a
the
little,
time.
I'd say a little bit of everything because I literally am an owner operator, right? Like I'm president and CEO of Mckee Fire because it's a corporation. That is who I am legally. But I do wear every single hat in the company.
It's a
So
lot. That's hard.
so from trying to keep a backlog of jobs coming, trying to get jobs through design, trying to deal with maybe some comments and things going on with that, getting material ordered, paying bills, you know, getting the next thing done for this and that and that and that. It's kind of a lot, but it's still really exciting and a fun experience. But I'm really looking forward to the time to where I build up enough capital and I could start delegating more and be like, hey, you do this. This is your job. You do this. This is that. That's your job. But it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of jobs to build up the capital to be able to be like, all right, I'm going to hire this person and pay them this much per hour, per year, or whatever to grow and scale towards this direction of where we're
Well,
trying to
you need to
go.
create that process too, so you can't just
Yeah.
hire someone and say do this. You have to have a process that's yours that you're going to
Yeah.
hand off to them, right?
They follow.
100%. So my foreman I hired, my goal is to have him be the superintendent of the company. So I work directly with him every single day. He used to be my apprentice. He became a certified journeyman through the union. He ended up, getting out of the union where we're at, and he like he didn't work for a couple of years. He was trying to figure out some things with his life. He went through some difficult hardships. But he got back into the trade. He's got 10 years experience, and it's like riding a bike, dude. You got right back into it. He's kicking ass, doing super good. And so I'm literally training him a lot about leadership stuff. Like when even being a foreman, it's a lot about leadership. It's a big difference to go to work as an apprentice or journeyman, just installing. Hey, here's your plan. Go to this area, pipe the stuff there versus being a leader and someone who's supposed to like tell people what to do and delegate, and you're dealing with people's emotions and how they're feeling. They're calling in sick, they're saying this and that. You got to figure out how to boost morale, how to like when someone fucks something up, instead of just being an asshole, just like try to present it in a different way. Like when I was younger, I would be really angry all the time, and like now that I'm like have even more stress and responsibility I've ever had in my life, I'm just like more calm these days. I'm just like, well, I don't have any energy left. So I'm just
Fuck
like,
ups
I guess
happen.
I'll
Let's
slow
fix it
down.
quick. I can fix a fuck up quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
It's not about the fuck up. It's about how quick can you get back to how quick can you unfuck it?
And just, dude, if you're the type of person, if you're gonna mess something up and you say, hey, that's my bad, I messed that up, I'm so sorry, like what teach me how to not do this again. I will give you so much credit and respect for just taking the accountability that you made that mistake, and I'll be right there with you to make you 10 times better moving forward. But we are the kind of guy that's like, no, I didn't do that, blah, blah, blah. It's like those people, I can't work with them, dude. Like
Yeah.
you can't take any accountability. It won't ever work.
Take the accountability. That's it. So I had a funny one. I was holding back laughter a few minutes ago when Jeremy says Brian's biggest challenge is figuring out where he wants to get a latte with his wife. I like that one. That one's from JB. And then Daryl says that I can't have a leak because I'd have to install it. Daryl, you don't see me. You're not on my page watching me install. I'm doing fire pumps. Come on, Daryl. Pay attention. Dylan's been his
Listen,
problem's been managing subs for the install since we're just in the jurisdiction. They're just here to collect checks. Lots of hard conversations. Oh man, that sucks, Dylan. Derek says, "Have you ever called in sick at 6 p.m. thinking at 6 a.m.?" Funny story is I had a chick that did that. She called. She calls me. We just got out of work like 3 hours ago, and I'm like, she's like, "I'm not gonna make it in today." I'm like, I just seen you like 3 hours ago. She's like, what? I'm like, it's fucking 6 p.m. Like, you got 12 hours to be to work. You better fucking
Oh
be
my
there.
gosh.
That's good.
That's crazy. That's like you started drinking at lunch and you made it through the end of the day. You went home, took a quick nap, and you woke up at 6 p.m. and it's still dark. You're like, oh shit, I'm not gonna make it in. I would speed. I would be late before I would be absent, right? Even
Better
when
late
you
than never.
wake up, yeah, better late than never. And sometimes you have an asshole foreman that would turn you away, but at least I tried. At least if you
Yeah.
can't
That's the
make it
best
here on
part of being an
time,
inspection.
go back
It
home.
starts when you get there, you know?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and a lot
true.
of
That's
time
the best
inspections
part.
aren't starting at 6 a.m. in the morning most of the time.
No,
So like you get to
no.
sleep in a little bit. You're working like more the 9 to 5 thing, not 6 to 2:30 or 6:30 to
Yeah.
3.
I don't
It's
like
different.
that. I like to just 6 to 2. Boom. That's how I would get in and out of the city. So you're like
Yeah,
lingering around till people get out of bed to knock on their door, eight
yeah.
o'clock to go look at heads. Oh my God, I'd be
Yeah.
beside myself. You're sitting in traffic on both ends of the day. Let's see.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
It is literally too much babysitting unless you own your business, then it's worth it. Don't show leaks on the drawings. Why install them? that's that's a famous Chris Logan line.
Yeah.
I didn't put the leaks on the drawing.
Well, a lot of times the leaks aren't even your fault. It's on the make-on fitting or the weld on the main or things like that that are out of your control. And it's not even your leak, but you got to
A
deal with
lot
it.
of welded.
And a
Yeah.
lot of times those are on super large systems. It takes you an hour just to drain the system down, and then you're doing all this. You wait for the guy to come fix it, and then unless you're welding it yourself, and we've all dealt with those systems, man. You're looking at a couple hours just to drain and refill it because it's so big. It just takes forever.
I get to do a lot of the testing, and I'm not, I'm going into a warehouse with 8-inch mains, and I might have not hung
Yeah,
any of it. And so I
yeah,
feel more confident filling someone else's system than I would if it was like if I put it all in and everyone knows I put it in, I was filling it. You're like wicked nervous, but like you put it in, I'm like, oh, you better have done a good job.
yeah. Someone else, you're like, oh, who the fuck did that? Okay.
Billy. It was Billy. I'm service and I work 5 to 7. I'm service and I work like 5 to 7. JB, what is
Okay,
good?
overtime every day. Good for you, dude.
Them uniform people, they're just cranking you, dog. What is happening? Why would you work? Dude, that's a long ass day. Or
It's a long
unless
day.
it's, I would like if that's 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. That's awesome. That's what you talking about, JB? You just wake up, dig a hole real quick, paint a
2
FDC,
hours, get your 8.
2 for 8.
Yeah.
Damn, kids.
Union rules. Like, I'm out of here. I work 2 hours. Get me an hour.
Nah, if it was a 2 for 8, we'd definitely stop for breakfast on the way home, make it like 3 for 8.
Yeah.
The
Right.
service more than being a foreman, it was too much babysitting. With service, I'm one man show. Yeah, you can always count on yourself, Daryl. I'd be more
It's always nice
confident.
having an extra person at the alarm panel so you don't have to run.
Yeah, that is nice. Or 2 people
Wow.
to do hydrants.
Wow, you better redact that
Yeah.
one, Chris. Did you mean to say system? Or did you really mean to say sister? Chris Logan says, I'd be more confident filling my sister than yours too.
Okay, Boston Club.
Leave the house by 5 a.m., get home by 7 p.m. Nah. They're overloading you, kid.
Well, I think what he's talking about also is he leaves at 5 a.m. He gets to where he's at by 6. So he starts his day at 6 a.m. And then he's done by like 4 or 5. Then it takes some traffic to get home. So maybe that's because we all work 12 hours from the time we leave our house and get back to our house.
Oh, for sure.
That's
But
true.
you ain't getting paid for that, I could be wrong. Sorry if I'm wrong, bro.
No, don't be sorry to him. He's all right. He's got tough sim. Chris says system.
It's good.
Oh, that is good. This is great.
Hey, Brandon,
we're well
thank
over
you
an
so
hour.
much thanks for coming on again. We're gonna have
For sure,
to have
dude.
you on another time.
Dude, I always have
And,
a great time with you guys.
Yeah, man, we appreciate
We're
you.
excited to watch you grow.
We're rooting for you, man.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate that very much.
And I'm
Well,
sure
me too.
that
It'd be cool to
If
look
there's
back on
anything
these
we can ever
episodes
do.
5 years from now and be like, look at us, buddy. I'm just kidding.
we want to come back on that episode too, and hopefully
Yeah.
maybe if you start hiring like a bandit, you could probably pick someone up from the community. It seems like
Yeah, you never know,
Florencio's
dude.
right in your backyard, dude.
Trying to build that trophy truck right now. I need like another 350,000.
How about you need a driver? I'll drive it for you.
Yeah, no, I need a passenger to tell me where to go, so we can work that out. You already look good in the headphones, so
I got you, dude. I got
Yeah.
you. Let's go. Hell yeah, I'm down. Could I set the laptop up? We could stream it.
yeah, one of these days you guys will figure out the desert scene over here in California. It's pretty fun, dude.
Yeah, I see it online, man. I would love to get on a four wheeler and go on the dunes with the sand tires
Oh,
and the and
dude,
the
it's
and the
so
and little
cool.
bendy pole with the flag on the top. Kid, come on.
So much fun.
I want to do it. We're gonna do it one day. What's it called?
Yeah.
Where? Is it like
Well,
Glamis?
Glamis is like
Glamis.
the sand dunes.
That's
I
where I
like
want to go.
superstition a lot, it's a little bit of everything, but like the big sand dunes, Glamis is the big popular desert out here. Yeah.
And I want to get. You gotta go out there with a big fat truck and an RV and tow all the toys and camp out there for like a week, right?
Yeah. Well, weeks are like awesome. I usually go like 2 or 3 days, but my brother will go out there 5, 6, 7 days at a time because he would live there if he could, He owns a tile business, but he's like tells everyone where to go, and he's just out there cashing checks, just driving his sand roll around, popping wheelies, buying expensive car parts. So trying to catch up with my brother.
Oh, that's awesome,
That's
man.
a freaking awesome.
Well,
That's
if
awesome.
we're ever out that way, we're gonna come visit.
For sure,
Yeah,
it'd be
we
a good
will.
time, dude.
Everybody, appreciate you guys tuning in tonight on the Dope and Tape Show. What do we
Peace out,
got?
everyone. Thank you, guys. Bobby,
All
Brian,
right,
appreciate
see
you
you.
guys.
Yeah, man. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks for
I'll see
watching.
ya.
Please hit the like
Later.
button. Hit the subscribe button on your way out.
Don't forget to hit
We'll see you guys next Thursday.
Hit it right now.
it right now.